Tears like rain run down the window. I repeat your name, losing no wisdom.
Unidentified RK stored in this location. The enemy aims to artificially combine these two forces to cause an inversion overload explosion. They have also blocked off the entry path with the Order's malignant tumors. First, remove the tumor from the container to reveal the RK stored inside. Remind of the ancestors. They will have already identified the RK's properties. This is a phase separation rail, which uses inversion energy. It has a large output, which requires processing of tens of billions of units of data per second. According to the scan results, the structure that appears to be a computing device is Colossus artificial brains. This is how they are processing all that data. Continue to insert all these artificial brains into the computing device, Descendant. If you overload the device, the veil will be neutralized. The enemy commander is using the phase separation veil as a shield. If you overload the computing device, you can create an opening to attack the commander directly.
Hello everyone. So I had to record the video a second time because the first time I forgot to explain my bossing build, the Intercept one. So here it is, the second recording. Anyway, let's get straight to the build. So for the general purpose that includes mobbing and the interception, not the interception but the infiltration operations and invasions, this is the build that I'm using. So I'm using increased HP and increased def for HP and defense, and I put all these two modules in all my Descendants. However, here, instead of increased defense, you can run spear and shield, which will give you even more skill power, which is not that bad given his modifiers, right? 8.1% is not nothing in this case. So that's a nice damage boost. However, you will be compromising on defense. So, for example, let's take a look now. I have 30k defense. Now the next thing that I will tell you, don't take it as granted because I might be wrong about it. I'm just talking based on what I think I recall correctly. I might be mistaken about this, but the damage reduction works at some breakpoints, and I think there was something like 30% or either 30 or 40% damage reduction at 16k defense, and then the next breakpoint is at 32k. 32k gives you another 10% additional damage reduction. So I'm close to that 10% additional with 30k, and I have 9.3k life. However, if you put spear and shield, which will give you more damage, yes, but it will lower your defense to 21k, which is still not bad, but it can make you more squishier. So it's up to you. If you feel that this is fine, then just use more damage, right? For the general purpose, like the excluding intercept bosses, I'm using this build. So again, it's a crit skill based build. So of course the 4 skill critical modules, which are the skill insight, skill concentration, front lines, and emergency measures. Then you need maximize duration and skill extension. These two are a must. Why? Because his 4th ability is based also on duration. As you can see, there is duration, 8 seconds is the base value. Mine is to 14.81 seconds. And you need this if you want to shoot more fireballs with his unique weapon. Now the thing is that it has continuous MP cost, and this is what you have to look for to lower the cost and increase the duration of the ability to be able to shoot more fireballs. Then fire specialist for the fire skill power. Don't use skill power modifiers on Lepic ever, at least at this point. Maybe they will have to nerf him heavily in order to facilitate the necessity to use modifiers on him. At this point, you will be losing a ton of damage if you go for modifiers and not the raw power, right? Fire skill power gives you raw power that is further scaled by the skill power modifier. In this case are the percentage, like 2700% damage, right? And then this is the flexible mode, but I'll explain upon which condition it is actually flexible. So in my current build, it's not exactly flexible, and I'll show you why. So you have to reduce the skill cost because we are using the Slayer set, and you have to use the Slayer set because this gives you a lot of damage, right? It gives you skill power plus 26%. Now it's not modifier, it's skill power. Again, it gives you a lot of damage. So this 26%, then the fire specialist gives you 81% more. Then on the reactor, as you can see, my reactor is for Secret Garden, right? And on the reactor I have skill critical hit rate and tech skill power boost ratio, and his fourth ability is tech, which further increases the skill power of his unique ability. Then, because my reactor is for Secret Garden, I have to use Secret Garden when I'm shooting his unique weapon. Now if we take a look at the unique ability of this weapon, it says when using a tech skill, which is Lepic's fourth ability, grants the unique ability pest control with a set chance. And now the pest control gives you you can stack it up to 3 times, and each stack gives you 12% skill power on top of the base value of 5%. That's in total, if you stack it 3 times, 41% increased skill power, not skill power modifier, skill power. Okay, that's 41% skill power, 26% from the Slayer set, and then 81% from the fire specialists. And then you have another 11,700 skill power from the reactor. And we have a skill critical hit rate of 50% because we are using also skill critical hit rate on the reactor itself. And which means that with this value, statistically, on average, every second hit with the unique weapon would be critical hit and would be multiplied by this skill critical hit damage multiplier, which is 4 times. So that's the build. Now let me show you how many times I can shoot if I switch to the Secret Garden, right? One thing that I forgot to mention is that in order to be able to do more than 8 shots, or more than 6 probably, with this amount of duration that I have, which is like 14.1 seconds, okay? In order to be able to do more than 8 shots with this, you need these 2 modules equipped. This is not that important. It's important if you want to change the weapon, right? If you don't want to use Secret Garden when you're not shooting his fourth ability, then you can swap your weapons faster, which is nice. But on the weapon that you're using, like the weapon that you're holding while you're shooting his unique weapon, you need these 2 modules equipped. This is non-negotiable. It's a must if you want to shoot more than 8 shots. Okay, so I will show you now how many shots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, 13 shots with duration of 4.1 second. Now, if I put Battle of Stamina, right, instead of increased HP, first of all, now that will increase the duration with 0.7 seconds. So instead of 14.1, now I have 14.8 seconds, right? But it will significantly lower my HP. Instead of 9.4, now I have 6.5k HP. So if I want to shoot the weapon now, one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 times. Okay, and I still have some MP left, but the duration ended before my MP was consumed, and I managed to shoot 14 shots within this 14.8 seconds. So it's roughly 1 shot per second, something like that. So I have seen people shooting up to 18 shots. If you want to achieve 18 shots, you need all of this, right? All of these modules, like you have to use Battle of Stamina. And here you need skill critical hit rate and skill duration with yellow row, possibly the max row, if you want to reach 18 shots. Okay, I don't have this, so the maximum I can reach is 14 shots. Now with the reactor, this one is good for infiltration operations, the invasions and everything in the game except for Colossus. Not that it's not good, but as you can see, for example, now in this video, here as you can see, I can't always kill, for example, the dead bride immediately or within all the shots, all the 14 shots that I have, and this is for several reasons. First of all, I don't have damage to Colossus, so if I had on my reactor skill critical hit rate and damage to Colossus, or skill critical hit rate and skill duration, which would give me 18 shots instead of 14, then I would be able to kill the boss with all my shots, right? Maybe before she activates her invulnerability. That's one thing. If you have skill critical hit rate and damage to Colossus or skill duration, it increases your probability of killing the Colossus, like the Dead Bride and let's say the Frostwalker, before they activate their invulnerability. But it's still not guaranteed because it depends on whether your hits actually manage to crit, and it's like 50%, so you have 50% chance to crit and 50% chance of not critting. And really, if like 80% of your hits are critical in that 14 or 18 shots, then most likely you will be able to kill them before they activate their invulnerability. But don't expect that you will be able to do it consistently 100% of the time, every single time, right? But again, having skill critical hit rate and damage to Colossus or skill duration significantly increases this probability, specifically for interception. For the other part of the game, like infiltrations, invasions and everything else, tech skill power is enough, or you can get skill duration if you want more shots, but you don't really need more shots for the other part of the game, except like again for the interception. That's the only part of the game where you need more shots, in my opinion. I would go for skill critical hit rate and skill critical hit damage. That, in my opinion, is the best for everything in the game except interception. Okay? So, another thing, if you notice with the Slayer set, is that increases your skill cost. And this is the reason why maximized conservation is kinda non-negotiable, but also it could be a negotiable module. And you can remove this and replace it only if you have and I'll show you why. So for example, if I remove this now, I still have 14.8 seconds, right? So in theory I should be able again to shoot 14 shots because I was able already to shoot 14 shots, but I won't be, and I'll show you. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 shots, and I still have had duration on my fourth ability. Why I was able to shoot 12 shots while I still had duration on my fourth ability? Well, because you can see my MP run, I didn't have enough MP for 13 shot, and not to mention 14 shot, right? So this is why this might not be negotiable, right? You have to keep it there. You cannot replace it. But here, if you can roll the following stats on these components, you can actually do even bit better build than this. Okay, so you can keep Battle of Stamina, and then you can put increased HP here, which will give you even more tankiness, right? It will keep the 14.8 seconds, and then what you need here is this max HP, and then MP recovery out of combat or in combat. One of these two can roll here on the auxiliary power, and the other affix can roll here on the processor. So on the processor you want toxin resistance and MP recovery in combat or out of combat, and here you want max HP and MP recovery in combat or out of combat, whatever can roll. So then here on the sensor you want this max MP and chill resistance, but the max MP, it's absolutely crucial to be yellow row, and not just yellow, like very high yellow row. Okay, if you have this, and then here defense and MP recovery modifier, you want this, but possibly MP recovery modifier with yellow row. If you have all of this, you can remove maximize conservation and still be able to shoot 14 and even 18 times without having any skill cost reduction, but having negative skill cost, like skill cost increase, right? You can keep it like this with skill cost increase and still be able to shoot 18 times if you have these affixes rolled on the Slayer set. Obviously I don't have it, that's why I'm using the maximize conservation, right? But again, if you were willing to grind for all of these components with these specific affixes, then you can keep Battle of Stamina and put increased HP instead of maximize conservation, or put Battle of Stamina instead of maximize conservation, right? Depending on what you prefer to play to begin with, because for example I prefer this, and if I had the best components, I would just remove this, maximize conservation, and put Battle of Stamina there. So that's for this Lepic build. That's the mobbing build, like everything in the game except interception. Now for the interception, what I'm using is again this. It's the squisher build, so Battle of Stamina instead of increased HP, and Spear and Shield instead of increased def, right? And then Dangerous Ambush instead of maximize conservation. So with this, as you can see, I can still shoot around 12 times, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes, 12 times, but I still had duration actually. So the problem is that I just don't have enough MP. So I can still get 14 shots with this, and all the time that you saw me on the Dead Bright fights, it was with even less than 12 shots, I think, because I was activating my second ability, this one, before shooting, and when you activate it, it consumes MP. It consumes 32 MP, which is a lot. It's almost one shot, right? So basically in some of the fights I had even less shots than what I'm showing you now. So if you have the perfect components, you really have quite nice chance of killing her before she activates any vulnerability. Finally, for the weapon that I'm using Afterglow. So this is the build that I'm using for Afterglow, and that's when, for example, I'm playing the Intercept bosses solo. I know that, for example, with Lepic, let's say, I can shoot 12 or 13 shots or whatever, and then whatever HP is left on the boss, I can take them down with these 10 shots that I will have, 5 or 10 shots that I will have on the Afterglow. So it's not an issue to use Afterglow for me. What I'm using on the Afterglow is rifling reinforcement, then concentration priority for the crit damage, fire enhancement, and fire priority. Now you need this module if you want to use fire priority. If you use only fire priority without having this module, then this does nothing. This doesn't apply at all, because as you can see, this just increases your fire attack, but this adds fire attack to the weapon, and if you don't have this, then the weapon doesn't have fire attack that can be further increased by the fire priority to begin with, right? So if you want to remove this module, fire enhancement, then you will have to remove this one as well. Then I'm using fire rate, although this fire rate concentration, although you don't really need that much fire rate for snipers, so it's up to you whether you want to use it or want to use something else for like more weak point damage, for example. Then here I'm using better concentration for more crit damage, concentration stabilizer for the recoil, but that's my personal preference because I don't like huge recoils, and the snipers usually have already quite big recoils. Then action and reaction, which already gives you even more recoil, and that's why I don't like this huge amount of recoil, but this gives you firearm attack. Then this weak point expansion, it's very nice one, so I'm using weak point sight and weak point expansion, but this weak point expansion, it's flexible because you can use special sight if you want consistency, right? This gives you much less weak point damage, but it's guaranteed additional weak point damage on every hit, right? If you manage to land every shot on weak points, then you will get this 30% every time that you shoot. With this you get huge amount, like 140%, but only on weak point hits every 10 seconds. So you hit one weak point once, you get the bonus, and then you cannot get the bonus for another 10 seconds. No matter if you hit the weak points or no, you're not gonna get this any bonus for the next 10 seconds, right? Any weak point bonus from this module. You'll still get the one from this module, but you won't get this 140% in the next 10 seconds. But anyway, I prefer this one, but you can swap this one. Basically, they are the same polarity, by the way, so it's fine catalyzing this polarity here, because you can just easily swap them and decide for yourself which you like better. So that's what I'm using. And again, because I'm using Afterglow for Glay, I have other builds as well, like the Toxic and Electric. When I'm fighting, for example, Executioner, I'm using the Toxic build. When I'm fighting someone that's prone to Electric, let's say Swamp Walker, then I'm using the Electric one. And really the difference is only in these two polarities, so I just changed the element. For example, fire enhancement and fire priority, here I changed them to toxic enhancement and poison priority, and then here I still have to finish this one, but it's electric enhancement and electric priority, and so on, right? You can build it for cold as well. So that's I think that sums it up, everything for this build. Thanks for watching. I hope it helps someone, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm out.